It's easy to fall into the trap that spending on your home is an investment in your future, but it can be just that, a trap that isn't true. In some areas, renovations add to that all-important house value. In others, you're just spending money and you'll never get it back. Today's letter is from someone who's worried they've done exactly that. Now the question is, can they salvage the situation? Do they still have time to find a real investment? And how would they even do that? Welcome to Ask the Experts, where each week we talk to people in the industry, get that inside word on what's happening right now so you can make smarter choices with your money. Making Sense is partnered with realestate.co.nz to get you the info you need in today's market. Realestate.co.nz gives you so many ways to search and so much information to help you make decisions. Realestate.co.nz. Download the app today. All right, helping us sort out myth from fact, Vanessa Williams from realestate.co.nz. Ready for the letter?
I am indeed. How exciting.
All right, here we go. Hi, Frances. I've been listening to you talk about investing for a while. I know you often say shares are a great way to build wealth, but I'll be honest, I just can't get my head around the share market. Property feels more real to me. I bought my first home a few years ago. Since then, I've become a bit obsessed with the idea of making my house work for me. I recently renovated, new kitchen, new deck, the works. I figured it would add value, but now I'm realizing I might have overcapitalized. Now I hear people talking about using their home equity to buy an investment property. Is that something I should have done instead? Could I still do it now? I'd love to know how to actually build wealth through property rather than just taking on more debt. How do I know when it's a smart move and when I'm just chasing the next shiny thing? Now, I loved this letter because renovations are often sold as a great way to add value. There can be an investment into your home. And I think sometimes true, sometimes not, right? What are the times when it's a yes and what are the times when it's maybe a bit of a no?
Yeah, when you look at things like kitchens and decks, they're probably not going to add what we would call like genuine value to a home. Now, are they going to make the house easier to sell? Absolutely. Are they going to make your life better by living in them? Yes. But I would say that that is more of a lifestyle investment versus and I love what this lovely listener was saying about, I really want to make the house work for me and thinking of it as a financial investment, then the reality of it is all the data we look at, it's really around, are you adding a bedroom or are you adding a bathroom? I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to hinder depending on how much you put into that kitchen and that deck as well, because there are also very cost-effective ways to zhuzh up a kitchen and put out a deck. And yeah, that actually we might actually get the money back, definitely. But if you've spent a lot of investment with some really bougie appliances, you've gutted out the whole kitchen, completely changed it, that might be more of an investment for you as opposed to an investment for the house that's going to genuinely increase the value. So shall I chuck some numbers at you around additional bedrooms as an example? So if you've got a one-bedroom home in New Zealand, you're looking at about an average asking price of around $470,000. So it's around give or take $500,000. Now that jumps up to around $650,000 for two bedrooms. So right there and then you think about how much it is.
Massive difference.
It really is, right? And you also open up that buyer pool again. Because then again, it's if you've got a one-bedroom house, it's a very kind of niche market of who might either buy it or therefore rent it from you in the future. You add a whole other bedroom, you're adding a whole other ability for people to be able to see that more as a home for more than one person perhaps, or a very small couple if they are looking at
They're fine with being cozy.
Absolutely, a cozy couple. There we go. You then get around to a three-bedroom house, which is about the average in New Zealand. You're looking at about $830,000. So again, another significant, almost $200,000 jump there. Looking four-bedroom, $1.2 million. So you've just jumped there from about $830,000 nationally. I'm talking here, but $830,000 right up to just over $1.2 million.
That's almost like you've added the value of the single bedroom home on top all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you get the 5 bedrooms again. So we're talking just shy of about $1.7 million for a 5-bedroom on average here in New Zealand. And that's sort of October 2025 data we're talking about there. So you can start to see that if you are thinking about making that home work for you, whether you are looking to purchase and go, okay, well, let's look at a 2-bedroom home, but let's find ones that we're going to have the ability to add a whole nother bedroom to. And vice versa, you might go, right, we want to renovate, but we want to really make this home work for us. I'm not saying you can't do a few extra cupboards here and there or pop a deck out if you've got a really good builder friend or something like that. But where you want to invest that money is really around that. There's very clear data between adding a bedroom and a bathroom and actually seeing the additional value in that property be realized when you are selling.
Yeah. And I think what you said before about, you can do an amazing kitchen for quite little amount of money. It's hard to do though, right? And it's going to take a lot of research. So much of that is actually that they're trying to upsell you all the time, and that's fine, that's fair, they've got their business. But there is often the idea of putting in sweat equity and doing a house up and making it be worth more. As this letter has pointed out, she's now worried about overcapitalizing, aka spending more than you would get back when you sell it. And I think that's a huge danger zone. I think it's a very real danger and easier to do than to not do. It's far easier to spend a lot and to spend an amount you're not going to get back. Is there a way to gut check that or to sort of see what it might have ended up like? Are you going to have to talk to a valuer? How do you do that?
So again, if she's purchased her own house, so chances are she knows the property market quite well. She knew what worked for her. She understands a bit more of the data. She's not a data queen. No problem at all. Maybe now's a good time to start to understand what are properties that you have got right now with your renovations on top of what are they selling for. So as an example, if you bought that wonderful first home for $500,000 and you have added $200,000 worth of renovations, enhancements, now the way that I look at it is I go, that now house cost you $700,000. It's not a $500,000 home anymore. So the question would be, are properties of your type, and I'm more thinking here 2-bed, 2-bath, or, 3-bed, 1-bath in your suburb, are they selling for $700,000 or not? Mm-hmm. And that's part of the challenge that this particular listener will have. If they're selling for around $600,000, you may have overcapitalized. What I'd say to this listener is don't feel bad about it. If it's already done, there's nothing you can do about the past, right? So don't now sit at home and go, oh my goodness, what have I done? I can't believe it. All I'd say is walk into your kitchen and go, I love your kitchen. Yeah. You're worth every cent.
Enjoy it. It's there now.
Absolutely. And you will walk in every day after work and go, I love this place, because you have put the time, you've picked all of the different bits and pieces, the colors, it is your home. Think about it as next time when you're looking to either maybe sell this house, and but if you're a bit of a DIY and you quite like it, you might want to go, right, I'm done now. I want to buy another property that I can add my sparkle to, but I'm going to be a little bit more strategic with where I invest my money and therefore actually make a bit more money on top in terms of profit in that time.
Yep. And I think this letter also touches on quite a heated debate. I mean, a house is always an asset and 9 times out of 10, a very good financial move. But in an investment, that gets debated. So in terms of whether your own home that you live in is an investment, where do you stand on that?
It's so interesting. I was having this exact conversation in the office yesterday because I'm like, right, I'm seeing Francis tomorrow, team. Come on, give me your feedback. Bit of user-generated content here from the real estate office. And there was a couple of people who were very passionate about not being an investment. And I can understand that. And look, globally, it's not really deemed an investment. And we just don't see the capital gains that we do here in New Zealand, I think, for that reason. But I personally do stand and say it is an investment. You will see that asset go up over time. You will generally, depending on, of course, your timing and your cycle, but, 90 years worth of data would suggest that it's probably going to go up in time. And I do think that, we can look at it a little bit differently than a genuine investment property. Like if I'm looking for a genuine investment property, I am looking for hard-wearing surfaces. I'm looking for the Toyotas of the dishwashers that can be thrashed, do a good job, but aren't particularly expensive. I'm looking for areas that have got really good bus stops or train stations or public transport hubs that can help my tenants get to and from work, to and from university. But I still see the home that I live in as an investment, but I invest a little bit differently because I know I'm enjoying it. I know that I'm going to always look after it just that little bit better than most tenants will because it is mine. So, I might just spec up the dishwasher a little bit. I'm not going to get a Ferrari, but I, might get a Range Rover. I'm not sure. I've lost my analogy to cars. It's got a little,
We've waded into the car waters.
Yeah.
Find the perfect property faster with realestate.co.nz, the home of property. Realestate.co.nz allows you to search the way you want based on your budget, the location, the type of house. You can even draw on the map to find properties in a specific area. You can filter by price range, number of bedrooms, even keywords like brick and tile. If you're keen to avoid buying at auction, you select to view houses with the price displayed. That's super helpful, especially if you're using your KiwiSaver. When you've narrowed down your search, realestate.co.nz will alert you when a new property that matches it hits the market. Download the realestate.co.nz app to find your perfect property faster.
No matter where you're putting your money, in my opinion, you want to make it work for you.
I so agree with that point. Yes, because it is a huge amount of money. Even if you're looking at, like you had that number for the single bedroom, that's still in the 400K mark. That's still an enormous amount of money, even if it is a very small home. So absolutely, I think we're talking about that much money. You really want to be, just checking a few things. You don't want to be throwing money away on this. As you say, if we're thinking that really true investment of an investment property where you're getting income as well. Now, she's mentioned that she's not comfortable with the share market. She's wondering if she can use her home to get into an investment property now. So where would you start with that process? I mean, do you need to, if she's put in all this work to her home, does she need to sort of get that assessed and then sort of see what she could do from there? I mean, what would you think would be next steps to be saying, okay, I've probably done as much as I want to here, getting squicky feelings about overcapitalizing. I'm looking for an investment property. Where now?
Yeah, I would talk to a financial advisor. I would have a chat and go, okay, this is the reality of the kind of debt I'm in. This is the market and where it's at. They'll be able to advise you as to whether you do need to have a valuation done on your newly renovated. And again, I know she had said that it was the kitchen and the deck and all the shebang, but I don't know if she added an extra bedroom or converted a bathroom into two, or, there might be some opportunity where it's not actually overcapitalizing. It has made, a material difference to the value of the home. So, because I'm not super clear on what it is exactly that's done. Kitchen and decks, again, not usually so much big.
And then we've got the works.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever that looks like, but I would honestly have a chat to a financial advisor and go, what can I do now? And look, they will give you some options. And it might be, as I said earlier, you might go, okay, I actually really love the DIY element. I love that taking something that's, not as amazing it could be and really turning it into a home for somebody. And if that's kind of your jam, maybe you're like, well, now that I'm done with this one, as I said earlier, I will go and find another opportunity that I can do that, but understanding now more around what makes a difference. You also might go, I have just spent so much time, energy, love, and money on making this house exactly what I want it to be. I want to live in this for the next 20 years. So then you sit down and go, okay, well, so how much of this do I need to pay off in order to be able to purchase another home or another investment home? What does that look like if I say 50 grand or 80 grand or 150 grand? And at what time frame am I working towards? And then what type of investment property do I want to look at? If she's in a major centre, does she want it to be local to her? Well, then you might have to save a bit more. Is she happy to just buy anywhere but buy within a certain price bracket? So speak with experts, put all of the options on the table and start to noodle away, right? Because you don't have to solve it right today or right before Christmas or right in the new year. You can kind of go, okay, I hadn't thought about that. When you talk to different people, particularly experts, but also friends, family, whānau, colleagues, you kind of go, you've done that. Oh, that's an interesting way to do it. It's creating those ideas in your mind and understanding different ways in, and then going, okay, actually, this might be more of my jam. But start to just gather some of that information around different ways in which you can find a way into a investment property or a doer-upper DIYer seller for more money.
Yeah. So, the official term.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying there, though, about talking to as many people as possible. Like, yes, talk to experts. Absolutely, a financial advisor, really good idea. And often the first meeting with a financial advisor, they will often give you for free to check that you're a fit, to check if they have strategies that appeal to you. So it's a very low stakes way of checking things out. And then you can continue working together if it works for you. But also to be speaking more widely in your circle to people who may have done this or are interested in it, and giving yourself that opportunity, like you say, to spark ideas. Now, not everything is going to work for you. I am such a big believer personally, and I will take in all of the information and all of the opinions that I possibly can. I'm probably then going to reject 70% of them, and have that confidence in yourself to know what you're looking for and to be able to reject the things that don't work for you, but take in all the info anyway, because sometimes it sparks in a way that you weren't expecting, right?
And that's exactly it. Because we only know what's in our own head, right? And when you start to talk to people and you start to kind of open your mind to different options, ideas, and thoughts, I totally agree with you. Like, never thought about that before. What a cool way. What an interesting dynamic. And then you start to talk to more people and you find out more information about it. And then you start to do some research and wow, there's a lot on the internet.
Some good, some not.
Yeah. Always make smart decisions. But yeah, I agree with you. I think like opening your mind up to those different ideas, and you're right. I mean, you'll hear some crazy things. I would never do that. And that's cool. But at least you start to noodle away and kind of find different ways in which you can get into that.
Yeah. 100%. Vanessa Williams, realestate.co.nz, our resident data queen. Thank you so much for coming in, dropping all the beautiful numbers on us as always.
So welcome.
And if you have a question that you want to send our way, send it to ask@franciscook.co.nz. Shoot me that email, lay out as many details as you can. The more detail you give us, the more we can get into the weeds on these things. So that email address is in the description of the podcast. Hit subscribe on your way out to the Making Sense podcast. And until next time, have a great day. Just a note before you go, this podcast can only give you general information about how things work in most cases. It's not individual financial advice. We're all different, so some of this might not apply to your specific situation. Take what works for you, ignore the rest. If you're after individual financial advice, a financial advisor is always the best bet.